Now, we would like to invite Mr. M.V. Subramaniam sir, Digital Futurist, July Ventures Chennai, Chat Technology Committee, SICI, to enlighten us about the role of technology in driving disruptive innovation.
Good afternoon. You all have coffee, tea. I just wanted to know whether the people sitting at the back, would you like to come in the front, because I would like to ask questions to the people who are sitting at the back. If that is okay, otherwise you cannot engage with me. I can talk the language which you may not even appreciate and understand now, unless otherwise I engage with you. I know that very few people are sitting and writing here. I do not know whether they have to give notes. I don't see others are not writing about anything. Anyway, I will leave the presentation here. You can use it if you want. So you are all ready for questions. Somebody who is not ready for questions, please raise a hand. Everybody is ready for question? Very good. So I think there are people here. You made it sit in. That is good. So the topic which was given is the role of technology in driving disruptive innovation. I think previous speakers have spoken enough about what the past history was. I think you heard Mike Murli to talk about how the innovation helped from the past till now. But the other speaker, Mr. Magendran, was talking about what was his experience on, what the innovation he touched upon agriculture, he touched upon politics, he touched upon some aggregation platform. He spoke about Uber, he spoke about Airbnb, so on. So, I can change, is it? I can ask you to change also, that's okay.
No, sir, it's for your reference here, because you're turning back. You want to change.
So he will change, yeah? Thank you. So let us first understand what is disruption, because some of the speakers have left some information about what is disruption from the viewpoint of what they had as a disruption. But we also have to look at what is disruption, what is understood as a disruption in this scenario of early stage and startup companies which are coming up. Change? Not changing. So hope you are able to read it. I do not want it to talk about it, how the business operates, or if there may be a disruption which yourself will have the behavioral change. Let us go to the first question. Who wanted to address what is the disruption you felt in last maybe 15, 17 years? You have been getting educated. What is the one disruption which you like to talk about? I can go into any depth depending on the disruptions you want to talk about. But anyway, I will cover my subject. Is somebody at the back? Nobody wanted to talk about any disruption what you are experiencing? Excuse me. One. Excuse me. Giving cooked food, is it a good disruption or bad disruption, which we'll come back to that. But disruption has gone to the level you have Vadiketra Shatti now, which has come into a system. That is a kind of disruption coming back. So disruption, possibly you would have felt, how many people have used ChatGPT? Raise your hands. But why are you not talking about it? That is a huge disruption you have. I know that you do not want to attend the class and go to ChatGPT and ask the question. How many of you learned prompt engineering? Is there anybody learned prompt engineering in ChatGPT? How to ask question? So next time you go there in ChatGPT, instead of asking question directly, you also say, I am a fifth standard student. I wanted to know about this. Don't tell the subject what you wanted to know. You say the disruption. As a fifth standard student, you tell me how should I understand. If if you ask that question, you will see that the explanation which comes to you will be much more detailed and simple. You understood? So this is how you have to, unless you engage, probably I will not be able to be giving the best, but I can keep on moving. Probably you have to know some of the background which has been given to you. I would have probably done investments on 20 companies. In a month, I see 100 companies. So my passion is to support the startups which wanted to actually germinate from the idea to the startup. I have many stories like that, but I am not dwelling into this. But unless you engage, probably you will not be able to get the best out of me. Next. Okay. What I was trying to say, this is very small because I made it at the last minute. They kept on changing my time in where I have to speak. So I kept on changing the last minute. I was not able to. Can you expand this font? No. Can you not do that? Okay. So what I wanted to set, because it was a technology which has been given as a subject for me to look at innovation, you also have to be carefully watching what is happening in the space for you to catch up that disruption and make any of your ideas to be coming into the world. So one is computing power. I think you all know I started using computer in year 92. That time, I bought a PC 486 for 2.5 lakhs, which is work with the disk. The computing power started growing much, much faster, where your mobile phone, which I'm using now, is much more faster than the computers which I used maybe some 30 years back. That is one, continuously keep changing. I think people who does not know Moore's law, go and read about Moore's law. The speed at which it is going to grow is much more faster. So that is something which will determine how the technology is going to impact the future of the innovation. The second is communication. As you all aware, that mobile phone, right? You all may be born with looking at the mobile phones now, but earlier it was telephone, which was there for more than 50, 60 years. Then after that mobile phone jumped, the people who did not even have telephone at home, they got mobile phone, not only one mobile phone. Now I know even those people have 2 mobile phones in their house. So the mobile phone is something which came in because of the communication disruption which has happened. The third one is storage and access of data. What is the latest storage, what you keep hearing of? Cloud, right? So that is something which is now going at the rapid speed, because these all have relevance of what you are going to innovate. If these three things keep changing, you will see that changes happening in our application, the way we live life. I will come back to that when I just handle what the applications which are there. So now what is going to happen now, that there are changes which is coming out in change in mobile computing, building quantum computing, cloud computing, and edge computing. How many of you know what is edge computing? Is there anybody knows what is edge computing? Is there any engineer here? Can you raise their hands? No engineer? All are BCA student, is it? MBA student? MBA? You tell me how many of you are MBA? Doing MBA. You have to be, see, MBA is nothing but you learn something which has already happened, but by mind you should have that managerial quality to actually take up the MBA and then go forward. You all did MBA, doing MBA, right? So you should learn this, and probably if you do not know, just note it down. Go and ask ChatGPT what it is. It will tell you in detail. So the edge computing is nothing but this speed at which the processing can happen at the time when the data is coming in. It can be processed and give you results. So it need not go back to the computer and come back. For example, you have a kind of cell phone which recognizes your face, right? It processes at the end where the customer is engaging or the data is coming in. It can process immediately and give the results. This is known as edge computing. This happens in all the cars. Now we are talking about electric cars. We are talking about Tesla. So many of the Tesla will have edge computing in their all the platforms they use. Tesla will have more than 100 computers inside, and some of them have the capability to do the edge computing at a much fastest pace. Otherwise you cannot do that. Imagine a driverless car. It has to decide immediately. It cannot go back to the computer and come back and say that this is what you have to happen, right? This is where the edge computing coming into the equation. Next. So these are why I wanted to show this is you have to be aware that the changes here in this technology going to give you changes in most of the areas or most of the life what we are going to live in future. So I have just made sure that some of the software which has come out of this process, right, because of the hardware capabilities, communication capabilities, and the software capabilities, some of them which has come for our utilization. One is artificial intelligence. You would have heard about it, right? How many of you heard about AI? So this is something which you use, ChatGPT you use, and probably that is one open AI system. There are closed AIs, there are open AIs. So what you are all seeing is an open AI. What you are actually experience is, it is too smaller an application. I will talk about little more deeper application little later, but what you are experiencing is a very, very small application of going and asking question and you are getting whatever the relevant information you want. Do you know what is going to happen to Microsoft? The AI, you say, you know ChatGPT, right? How many of you know Microsoft is going to come out with one more AI tool, is already using AI. What is that tool? Is there anybody has an idea that? Or Google? Huh? Gemini in Google. Then Microsoft? Pardon? Somebody has said Copilot is what Microsoft is going to come out with. You will see amazingly the changes which is going to happen for the people who are going to work. They will have a very, very different ways of working, and there are many jobs will not be there and which will be repositioned for something else. So Internet of Things. I think we are talking about Internet of Things. How many of you know where these applications are? Can you tell that? Can be loud? Go ahead. Huh? Mining industry, okay, that is one. Where it is utilized? No. Example of where is the IoT being used? That is a simple application, correct? So you are right. So that is one technology. Now I'll combine these two and I'll give an example of what Dr. Magendran was giving, right? Magendran gave an example of an application. How the doctor is accessed, where is accessible, affordable, whatever he gave the 3 A's. You know how the healthcare has gone. Now I'll talk about the core healthcare. How many of you, your parents are suffering from diabetes? Right? Now you have a solution to go and offer to them if you want. So now once the diabetes has been detected, the doctor says you have to go exercise, avoid sugar, avoid rice, avoid eating so and so things. Now this is going on for last how many years? Maybe 40, 50 years after the diabetes has been introduced. You know today's technology, there is something called twin health. Just note it down. I'll come to that. That is about digital twin, which is also the last one. I'll talk about it later. But what is twin health does is you have a watch. This gives all the information, including how your sleep quality is. Apple Watch can give you your sleep, up to the sleep quality, everything it measures. You have a weighing machine which can give you, as soon as you get into the weighing machine, it can give you your BMI, your water content, your muscle quality, your fat content in the body. It has been given by a weighing machine which costs you 1,500 rupees. Then you have something called CGM, which is a continuous glucose monitoring, which will be attached as a patch to the person. That is IoT, one of the application of the IoT. Now what happens is, all the three information goes into an application what the Twin Health has developed, and every day they have to feed what they have taken as a food. So now what happens is, it calculates your metabolic quotient. It also tells you how much time it has taken that whole sugar spike. As soon as you have food, there will be a spike. How much quotient it has had to bring it down, how much time it has taken to bring it down, and say whether you can eat this food or not, whether it is a green food or it is a food which you should avoid as a red food. This is for all the food you have. So your stress is calculated by the watch, your weight and other measurement is calculated by the weighing machine. Your CGM, continuous glucose monitoring machine, can monitor continuously what is your spikes in the glucose ranges. This will give the AI the capability to tell what food you have to eat, how many steps you have to walk. It is not done by the doctor. It is getting replaced, and it is very specific to individual. The foods are not common. The individual digestive system, the individual absorption of nutrients is being taken by this application. So I'm just covering 1, 2, 3 of this into the similar kind of use case which I'm talking about. I can talk about many use cases, but I just want to stop it in terms of time which is available. You know, blockchain. What is one thing which you have heard about blockchain about? Everybody heard about blockchain? Raise your hands, please. What is one thing which immediately comes in your mind in blockchain? Huh? Bitcoin. You have Bitcoin? You work for Bitcoin, is it? So he is an example. You can now, after this whole discourse, you can check with him how does he feel that blockchain is going to move, because it is going to change some of the ways the whole world can work. I'll give you one example of how it can be used in this cryptos, what they call it as a Bitcoin or cryptos. If you have to transfer money from India to US in today's world, it will take minimum 5 to 6 days. And it goes to multiple banks, not only one bank. I give it to the bank where I am banking. It gives to the next level of bank. Then it goes to the US in a bank where they have a relationship. Then it goes to the bank where the person account is there. So it takes 4 to 5 steps to reach the bank which I have to send the money. In Bitcoin or in the world of crypto, I transfer the money within maybe 5 minutes I can transfer the money to US. So go and find out how, but that is how this technology can help in making the whole world to come to a space where the transaction becomes within a minutes and within a seconds. It means, what it means in finance parlance is, if your money is rotated multiple times when you have the money, as the GDP of the country goes, the company's health will be much better, if you are able to get the money much earlier. So this crypto technologies and the blockchain has many applications. One is this. There are many applications where, for example, your land records. If you have a land records, now so many corruption is happening because of that is no digitized version of it. As soon as it's digitized, hopefully it will be getting into a kind of a blockchain where nobody can claim that this particular land belongs to somebody. These are some of the examples. I am sure that every one of you would have thought about it. I do not want to extend it and say that these are the applications you can, whatever thinking you have, all the applications where you need transparency, where you need traceability, and where you need authentication, all the three will be given by this blockchain technologies. So the e-commerce, which has come out of this, as Sar was talking about Amazon, I think you are all aware of e-commerce. Image processing. This is something, because of this, the technology changes, the image processing has gone to a very different level. I think what you are seeing in the mobile phone is like it may have some 90% accuracy of the images. For example, I have two sons. Unfortunately, the phone can open for both the faces. So we have fight at home because he would have opened and seen the other phone, what messages which has come. So this is something which is not more than 90-95% accurate, but there are companies which has now done in India up to 99.8% accuracy, which now going to help the election, which he spoke about politics, so I'm just touching upon that. In election booth, you just go there and then ask for the data, and then you have to show the card. Immediately they keep the ink in this thing. Now they have demonstrated in Bihar that they keep a mobile phone, you just pass through the mobile phone, is approved, then you get the ink. No intervention of the people, because this also helps people doing a proxy voting for others. So image processing are much more. I'll give you a simple example again, which is on e-commerce, image processing, big data analytics, and 5G technology. You would have seen in the grocery store, correct? As soon as you go there, they keep the whatever you buy as a vegetable. They press the button, get the weight, and immediately she presses the button there, and the total gets added. Have you noticed that? Imagine that there is no person. Imagine that I go and keep tomato in the weighing scale. It says it is tomato. Even if it is in the cover, even if you have put it in the cover, which is little transparent, it says tomato, weighing machine weighs it, automatically you get what the price which you get. Some of you would have experienced if you would have gone to Decathlon. How many of you have gone to Decathlon? Have you noticed that you have a trolley? No, you have a trolley where you put that article inside, it will tell you what is the total that is available now. This is typically convergence of little more on big data analytics, Internet of Things, then artificial intelligence, that is the general intelligence of that whole machine. And maybe in the 5G and image processing. These are some of the areas where it touches upon for you to give solution. Only one thing which I will not talk about are two things, voice technology and digital twin. Voice technology has gone to I think every one of you aware. As I speak now, if this is recorded for 1 minute, the same subject can be spoken about by the voice technology without me being here. So voice technology has gone to that stage where I think now you will hear politically. Even last meeting when Prime Minister came to Kanyakumari, when he was talking in Hindi, it got translated into Tamil on the run. So this is the stage the voice technologies are. So imagine how this whole thing getting processed. These are the impact which is generally happen because of technology, and these are the disruption which is going to be much higher speed it is going to be there. I'll just leave the thought of only one thing, because after this I think I'm moving to another subject, which is about the country's platform for innovation. So the software, what we are now using, 15 years down the line, there will be no coder. Do you know everybody can code? Do you know that? You go and ask the ChatGPT. You say that I wanted to write a program for stock analysis. Just type it. Give the code in Java or Python. It gives you a code. If you are able to know how to administer it, your application is ready. So in 10-15 years down the line, because of AI, because of this computing speed, because of the power of data, I don't need to develop software. I don't need to have people to test software. All these jobs are going away. Everything will be done by machine. I can go and say that I wanted to start a restaurant. It gives the software for everything. I don't need to even think. It will get assembled. It will have the application. If it is not able to generate, if there is already an application, it get attached to it, then probably it give you the complete solution. So this is how this whole thing will happen after 10-15 years, just for you to think what is going to happen in the future. Digital twin, this is very, very important. The digital twin which I spoke about, creating my human digital twin, I've stopped at the middle after the diabetes use case. 2 months down the line, how I am, how my body is behaving, same thing will be created in the digital twin. If doctor has to administer a medicine, they have to administer in the digital twin and find out whether I am reacting good or bad. If they find it is reacting good, they give the medicine to me. Otherwise, they will not give it to medicine to me. Medicine is going to go to that level. It is personalized to the individuals. So this is how this whole thought of digital twin, I am talking about healthcare. There are many applications which is an industry-based application. For example, I saw a digital twin where in a naval environment, if the cadres have to be trained on a disaster management thing when the ship is getting into a trouble. So they have a digital twin which has been trained by them so that they wear that goggle, they go near that place, it will tell exactly what they have to do, even if they are not trained. I'll go to another extreme example which has happened very recently, which is there for long time, on the operation theater, on the operation table. Doctors use digital twin in terms of getting the AR, VR perfectly fixed. There is a person who is lying, getting operated. His radiology thing gets into the digital twin. It also gives a AR, VR capability in the goggle. He can exactly do the operation even without missing anything. So he will get every other information. If there is something going wrong, he will also be guided what to be done immediately. So this is an extent it can reach, and this has ramification every industry you can think of. This has gone to the heights after the COVID because the missionaries which came from abroad, they were not able to send the person from outside to India to just install the machine. What they did is they created these kind of digital twin concept and then made sure that installation is correct. This can be applied in rocket science also, the PSLV-3 which is going. So it has been applied there also because, as you are aware, that in the space environment, all the people are not allowed to go inside, touch and do everything. So if there is any issue, they will try and then create it in digital twin and then check whether the behavior, if they make some changes, that is what they expect that behavior to be, possibly they apply in the space, in the rockets. So the digital twin has a big ramification, but you all don't see it now, but it is going to change the world in near future in all industries. Next. So some of the areas where I met a friend in, probably on the solar space. Some of the areas which I'm not touching in detail, some of the innovation which is happening in the renewable energy, there is one thing which I have a bigger bet on is on the hydrogen. That is going to be the alternate fuel, come what may. This is going to replace most of the fuel which has been used, because as you are aware, hydrogen, even if you are looking at petrochemical, they have hydrogen around 13 to 14%. So now they are trying to make vehicles or energy out of hydrogen. It is being now produced in industries, in steel industries, but the cost of production is much higher. They are making it in different ways. One of the ways which they are trying out is splitting the water H2O, taking the oxygen out and having the H2 be used. Now we have hydrogen stations in California, you have hydrogen station in Canada. There are few companies have come out with hydrogen vehicles. Hydrogen being used in industry is going to be the bigger use initially, and it will come to the automobile, because automobile is the smallest use for the consumption of whatever the fuels what you are consuming. Automobile is the lowest space to attract. But if you really look at Toyota, has not come out with the electric vehicle. The reason is they are looking at jumping from there, because even to have electric vehicle, electricity is to be produced, then it has to be stored in battery. For electricity to be produced, you need fossil fuel at least. They are looking at solar, but they are also looking at hydrogen as an alternate fuel, and that is going to change the world. What is the opportunity here? That is what people may think. All storage, then transportation, then how it has to be transported, how it has to be separated at the end where the consumer is using. These are the areas where most of the research is going on. You may find it very interesting when you find an opportunity to work in this space. So biofuels, I think how many of you know our petrol? We have a mandate in the country. Petrol has biofuel 10% added already, ethanol. Ethanol been added in the petrol already. Your petrol is not 100% petrol. It has been added with ethanol. We have a mandate in next 5 years to go up to 25%. Am I right? You are a solar person, right? So he has a mandate going up to the 25%. That means ethanol production, which is now used for liquor, will also they will be diverting to give it for the oil industries, so that they mix it with the oil. The reason why it is not going at a full speed is by actually they have achieved much earlier than what was predicted. But now the engines which has been developed, which is BS6 engine can use this mixed oil. Other engines cannot use it. That is why they have not changed into 25%. That means the import substitution. We are actually importing all the oil. The import substitution will come, and in some point of time, you will have 50% petrol, 50% biofuel, which can be used in the vehicles. So this is another disruption which happens. Next. Okay, I have completed here what I wanted to speak on, the technology, how the disruption happened. But one thing I want to leave the thought with, what is our country has done. So many of us, I'm not sure how many of you, but have you heard about, anybody heard about India Stack? India Stack, have you read about? If you are a management student, you have to have the subject, or you have to have a core group which can help you to understand what is India Stack means. India Stack is the stack developed by country. It was actually developed by an organization called iSpirit, dedicated to the country. It is free. This whole technology stack is free. Dedicated by iSpirit, completely contributed by big industry professionals, industries. They have contributed. They are saying we do not want money. There are people who go and work free in that iSpirit. iSpirit developed the India Stack. They have next 30 years plan. So any one of you wanted to look at doing something on innovation using the India stack, this is the time period for you. For management students, this is very important. That is why I just picked up this subject, because otherwise I would not have touched this subject. If it is an engineering student, probably I would not have touched. For management students, yes, it is. So what happened in India stack is, you all know that you gave Aadhaar. You gave 5 identification. Then you gave Aadhaar, they gave you an Aadhaar card. So that is the first layer of the India stack. As soon as they gave Aadhaar card, they built another layer which is KYC. There's know your customer. That is something which they built it in above the Aadhaar card. Then they built, this is not UPI, then the authentication layer. Authentication layer is nothing but you have to authenticate whether your data can be used. So that was built. That is known as authentication layer. All this built in the country, and it can be used by anybody. Right? So then they built DigiLocker. How many of you use DigiLocker? Not bad. Huh? You are using DigiLocker, right? So this is built in India stack. No other country has this facility. No other country has this facility, and many countries wanted them to use this. iSpirit is talking to, I know about 4 countries that iSpirit is already talking. Particularly in Sri Lanka, when they came back and asked, India said, we will fund it. You use India stack like Sri Lanka stack, we will give it to you. So that is something which is there. Then the last one which has come is account aggregator. What it means is, you have bank account, you have insurance, you have mutual funds, you have 2 bank account, whatever you have. Now what will happen is, if you wanted to see what is your wealth, you cannot see it in one face or in one screen. The reason is, no one can aggregate this data. Even if I have 2 bank accounts, I cannot find out what is the total deposit I have, because it was not allowed to aggregate. Now they allowed, the country has allowed for aggregation of this data, and you need to give permission. This aggregated data, I think it will be there for 24 hours or 48 hours. That means bank has to open up an API, the information has to be given to the provider, and the whole lot of information can be projected at one screen. This changes the way the things work. You can imagine whatever you want. So you can know what is your wealth. You can go to any bank, or you wanted to give your information, it can be pulled up in any time. So that is something which is already been given in this layer. We have few more layers getting created. We will talk about this next meeting if I come here. Next. So these are the things which has been developed. These are the framework being developed after this India stack has been developed. What is this framework? Have you used UPI, right? Everybody is using UPI. Have you wondered that you are not paying money for it? For transfer of money, you don't pay money, right? It is free, but it is going to be costing you in some point of time. Now it is free. That is one framework which has been created. UPI is one framework which is created, and it has been given free. Earlier, Paytm had this framework, but after UPI came, it cannot be a framework. Paytm cannot use, but they use this framework. Now everybody uses it, and it is free. So like this, there are other 4 framework which is there, which you have to know as a management student. You know ONDC? Any one of you heard about ONDC? No? You know Amazon? So Amazon, now who earns? The company who run by Amazon, they earn. The smaller company in a village here, they cannot sell the product. They cannot sell the product because they have some criteria for selection. You have to share even the money with them for transaction. So this ONDC platform allows even the smallest company to project themselves into that ONDC platform. If you adapt that protocol, then the buyer in Jaipur, They can buy this product. They can choose through which they will pay. They can choose who has to be the delivery person. Everything, it is not like Swiggy. Swiggy controls what you have to eat. Right here, the person can control what he wanted to consume, who is going to be the delivery partner for them. Delivery is a huge subject. Logistics is a huge subject. We'll touch upon this later. But this ONDC platform gives everybody an opportunity as a marketplace to be there, and this is developed by our country. So this gives opportunity for many startups to create a small application which can help the smaller companies to be onboarded into them. They get connected with the ONDC platform because they created the protocol for that. You have open credit, this is OCEN. So all this you can Google. So still I insist as a management student, you have to know what this is. No other country has this, believe me this. OCEN, Open Credit Enable Network, these things which is actually ONDC, through ONDC the product moves. Now if they want credit, this open credit network, what happens is, you have set of people who wanted to give money, who have set of people who wanted to borrow money, so they can actually do the transaction without even going to the bank. Bank also can be the person who can supply money. But as an individual, if I believe that I have to give money, I can get into this platform and I should be able to give money. I can choose what interest I have to give. This means the people who are in the ONDC platform also can get benefited. If they have transported their goods, the payment has to come. So they can, even as soon as if they are preparing and they have an order, they can also get credits. The companies which is actually done business like having a credit period of 30-45 days, possibly they will be looking at some banks to give them credit, which is not easy. To even today, with all the ecosystem which is putting pressure on the banks to give it to SME, believe me, you cannot take loan so easily. So this network, which will give an opportunity for any individuals also to give. This subject is a little more deeper, but we can touch upon later. But you Google it, you will get the video of Nandan Nilekani talking about it, because he was the father of this architecture. Then ULIP, Unified Logistics Interface Protocol. You know, after this, what do you call that? You have this toll plazas, right? You know what happened after these toll plazas have come inside the country? When the roads are much good, the country has to grow 5 times from here. You have roads are very good, your ports have become better, your airports are becoming better. Now the goods has to move smoothly. Toll plaza allowed the goods to move very smoothly across India. They don't need to wait. Earlier they have to wait, they have to cross the border, they have to give all the checkpost thing and all that. Now it is not there. ULIP is a kind of integration protocol for the logistics company to be in the platform. For the lorry owners, the logistic handlers, delivery people, last mile delivery people, all those people can be in this ULIP platform, so that you will be able to transport the goods without any pain. You need not know who is there, the transporter in Rajasthan, to transport your goods. ULIP will give that complete information. So any logistics player, they will start using ULIP. But if you look at this OCEN platform, can be integrated with ONDC and ULIP. So I transported the goods, I have delivered my goods. My goods will reach 10 days later. But now I need the money. Since the goods have left this thing, they can borrow it from the invoice, discounting can be done. So these are some of the things now. Because of this, maybe because of the toll and the roads, the goods which are getting transported in 15 days, now it's getting transported in 3 days. From Coimbatore to Chandigarh, it was taking 15 days. Now it gets transported in 3 days. So last one which is coming up is a national digital health mission. They call it as NDHM. There are already 25 crore people are enrolled in this, more than 25 crore. This is going to change the way even the medical fraternity or healthcare is going to work. Today, they are collecting data. They have put some laws and rules about how the doctor should behave. Because today you go to any big hospital, they will not give you the information which has been taken from you. They will not give the final, whatever they observed, they will not give. They will not share the detail which they have taken. For example, they have taken X-ray or the blood test. They will not share it with another medical institution. So all this is going to go out. Everybody has to put their information in this NDHM, and this is shareable. As soon as you get here, this data is available for many research. This data is available for not only research, for funding of healthcare, insurance companies. All these will change the way they work. So these are some of the things India has given it to you so that you will be able to innovate further from this. Next. So I wish you all keep disrupting, because I've given you very minimal input on what possibly that you can think of. But if you have any queries, and probably you can reach me in the LinkedIn, so that will help me to, if you have any smallest doubt also, it's okay, because that is my job. So I just thought that I'll give this time to all the younger generations for them to understand and then grow them as a startup, or at least innovate something which it will be helpful. Thank you very much for the time given. Thank you.